All right. Good evening, everybody. So, welcome into Cedar Rain's first live video. Kind of just want to start off with, we're gonna be doing these pretty much every Tuesday. Let's see, make sure I get that. Is that better? Yeah, there we go. We'll be doing this every Tuesday. Kind of just a hangout session. I'm gonna drink my drink and kind of just hang out, talk about a few different topics, and kind of just go from there. So I'm really glad everybody's here tonight. It's really a big deal for me to do this, face my fears, but got to get out of your comfort zone and kind of do your own thing. So here we are. So Cedar Rain, kind of want to start from the top and kind of just start talking, and feel free to give us some comments or questions and kind of go from there. So let's see. That's a good drink. So Cedar Rain is a family-owned business that really started out as an idea over 30 years ago. My mom, actually, I got some show and tell stuff here. My mom started making a coffee liqueur about 30 years ago, and it is actually one of our first products. So Cedar Rain Spirits, take this off. Cedar Rain Spirits started off as a liqueur distillery because of my mom's first idea with our coffee liqueur. It is a vodka-based hot brewed coffee. That's why we call it traditional, because that's where it all started. And so my mom has been making that before I was born, and my parents, my grandparents, family, friends, all used to drink on camping trips, which was actually really, really cool growing up to that. And then kind of fast forward to about 2016, 2017, the idea came up to maybe start doing this as an actual business and kind of go from there. And at that point, we started thinking about what we're going to call it, what's the name of the company going to be, and what's really going to be the next phase of it. And so, really what it came down to is in 2017, the idea got sparked. And then from there, it kind of just took shape. So 2019, we started looking for locations in the area of Walla to be able to do this business idea. And what we found was a spot in Dayton, Washington, about 25 minutes from, maybe 35 minutes from Walla. And we're able to at least get a space, because that's the hardest thing, is starting. And the water was better, and also just rent wise, it fit the budget no matter what. So anyway, we opened up December 2019. So the biggest questions I always get were what's some of the hardships with starting a distillery? Well, one is none of my family had any experience in the bar, restaurant, or distillery industry as a whole. So my family's all trial and error, school of hard knocks kind of thing. So it's been pretty awesome that way, looking at how far we've come without any actual schooling on how to do this. My parents are beyond blessed on how they do what they do. And it's kind of a cool thing is just seeing that. Why don't I put this way? Let's put this right here. How about that? Boom. I'll find a spot for that in a second. Anyway, so we'll say, where was that? So 2019, December 2019. So then we all know what happens in 2020 with COVID. Kind of the cool thing was we opened December 2019. We had 20 weddings set up. We had about 15 different accounts set up. And then March 2020, everything just came to a halt, and everything just went away like that. I know we weren't the only ones. 2020, COVID really hit pretty much everybody. And it is what it is. And during that time, we all had a family meeting, kind of a mafia style, and we're hey, do we want to continue doing this or not? And we did. And so during that time, we used that as research development and started expanding from the traditional coffee. And then my most popular product, let's see, boom, green tea liqueur, which is amazing, by the way. It's what I'm having right here with my whiskey. I call it green fashion. It's a spin on old fashioned, so it's green tea liqueur. Let's see if I can put it right there. Boom, green tea liqueur, whiskey, orange bitters. Amazing. But anyways, so during research development, we expanded from liqueurs. So we had a traditional, a hot brew, a green tea, and a cold brew liqueur. And then during COVID time, we expanded to all wheat-based vodka. So from a clear premium vodka to a vanilla, cinnamon, were like our main three vodkas that we did. And that was kind of like what we did for a long time. And then I think around 2022, I got off work and I went downtown Walla here, and I saw this location that I'm sitting in right now was open for rent, and it was off a supply store. The two brothers are amazing guys that own the place, and we talked to them for a bit, and we took the jump. It was something that we thought of a lot, and being downtown Walla, right on Main Street, what could go wrong? And so we took whatever we could and put into this place and renovated. So as you can see here, we have an amazing bar. And where we do tastings, cocktails, all that good stuff. And when we opened up, we wanted to just be a tasting room. But from a state standpoint, from liquor licensing standpoint, we actually had to expand from a tasting room to a bar and restaurant. And that was a big undertaking because, like I said, nobody in the family had any real restaurant experience. So it was like, okay, how are we gonna do that? My family's background, military and construction, so hard work is not a problem, but everything else that comes to restaurant is a big deal. Don't worry, my dad's in the back making some food, so if there's noise in the background, don't worry about it. So big thing for us was looking at how to get people to come through. And from a state standpoint, they told us only a certain percentage of revenue could come from cocktails. Well, we are a vodka distillery. A lot of revenue is going to come from cocktails. So we expanded. And so we expanded with food, when you do a restaurant, you got to have the full menu, right? You have 4 or 5 main items, appetizers, desserts, all these different regulations. But when we went to the family and was like, hey, how are we going to do this? My dad's like, well, what are we going to do? Just do barbecue. And so a lot of spots in Walla that do it. At the time, it was only really just pretty much food trucks. So we're like, okay, I didn't really know how we're going to do craft distillery meets barbecue meets craft cocktails and put that all together. But at Cedar Rain, we don't shy away from hardship. We just keep moving forward and put more work towards it. And that's what we did. And so now we own a barbecue smokehouse and bar with a distillery, and then expanded even past that, which is already a big thing. And then we expanded past that and did catering now too. So we get between 3 to 5 catering events a week, which is really, really cool. It's very humbling. I do a big shout out to Walla for the massive amount of support that the community gives us. It's awesome. So let's see. So I wrote some notes down just so I don't lose my place. Let's see. So we expanded catering and we do private events. We do all kinds of different things, doing a massive push right now towards nonprofits and to help the community because there's a shift in Walla right now. So we're kind of figuring out what that looks like. But then the winter of 2024, we actually got hooked up with a alcohol distributor. And that was one of the hardest pushes for what we wanted to do. As our distillery being the main thing, we've always wanted to keep the main thing going. And we were doing deliveries every week to about 25 to 35 locations across Walla, Tri-Cities, and Pullman. And it got to the point where there wasn't enough time. And it just became a hard time. And so expanding towards that. So it's okay, so we reached out a few, told us that we're too small for distillery, kind of a small fish, so to speak. But we had a great conversation with our current distributor called Odom, and they pretty much gave us the opportunity to grow, and it was awesome. They told us, hey, if you can make 3 different new products, citrus vodka, huckleberry, and berry, we'll take a look at it, and if those products are good on flavor and pricing, boom, we'll take on your whole lineup, or like not a problem. Like that'll be our focus going forward. So that's what we did, and now we have, let's see, almost 10 products now. We have premium vodka, which is a wheat based, and we have our corn vodka, because last year we had to move everything to a corn based vodka. We still kept our wheat premium because it's super smooth. So we got premium corn, green tea, vanilla, cold brew liqueur, traditional coffee, cinnamon, citrus, berry, huckleberry, and then our most unique one is called the Walla Sweet. If you don't know what Walla is known for, Walla is known for Walla sweet onions, and we did that. So about 2 years ago, we actually experimented with that, and it's very good in Bloody Mary. So if you're in Walla next, come to us and get our Bloody Mary. It's amazing. So let's see here. So we hooked up with Odom last winter. It's August now, and pretty much what they've done, they doubled our outgo, and it's been awesome. Obviously, it takes a lot of work. Being a smaller brand, we still have to grow and keep pushing and keep moving forward. And looking at that and seeing what makes sense. Later this week, I have a meeting with somebody to try to expand us to Oregon and Idaho. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. That's the goal for next year, is to expand to the west side of Washington State and into Oregon. And so as a whole, that's like the whole story right there. Like obviously there's a lot missing, but that's kind of, if I was going to be on like a PowerPoint, that'd be like the bullet points of Cedar Rain and where we came from and where we are now. And being a restaurant has been an amazing experience. I love providing for our community and doing what we need to do for the community. It's been awesome. In September, we're going to open up for lunch, and on Wednesdays again, and kind of keep expanding that, that territory. It's been really, really cool that way. Kind of a big shout out here is going to be, if this is your first time at our live events or you're replaying this in the future, please subscribe to our channel and help us grow. And maybe even do a like or even follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and kind of continue with our story. My hope is to do these live streams, 3 to 4 of these a week. Live streams are easier for me than doing like edits, but we'll see. I'll keep working at it and keep doing what I need to do that way. So let's see. There we go. That's a good question. So normally I'm working the bar, and one of the biggest questions I get is like, why call it Cedar Rain Spirits? Why? And the big thing for us is that my family's pretty private, but in what we do, we wanted a name that really resonated with us, that we had passion about, and we love the Pacific Northwest, and we thought about, we should do something that's very Pacific Northwest centric and themed. And so that's what we did. So we need to be rain in there. And so at that point, okay, what else is the Pacific Northwest known for? Rain and trees. And so I was like, and mountains. And so I wanted mountains in the logo, but then trees and rain in the name. And I was like, okay, so we went through like oak rain, pine rain, like all these different trees, and then Cedar Rain came up, and it just kind of flowed really, really well, and we stuck to it. And it was spirits in case we wanted to expand and do different things. So we did Cedar Rain Spirits as like the logo and as a name. Didn't really want to put our last name in there just for privacy's sake, and it really pushed it so that way the name as a standalone by itself. Cedar Rain is Cedar Rain, and it has been that way for like our spot here in Walla Walla. Our company's name is Cedar Rain Spirits, but we have a bar and restaurant in Walla Walla, and people in Walla Walla call it Cedar Rain. And that to me is just an amazing thing where you create a brand that people can actually start shortening and become more of a household name, and then before you know it, it grows from there. So it's pretty awesome that way. So. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see if we got any more questions. Okay, so another big question is going to be what's our most popular product we have? So it depends on the time of year. So time of year definitely changes. But my number one product, no matter what time of year, it can be 110 degrees outside, it can be 15 inches of snow outside. It does not matter. Is our green tea liqueur. No matter what. It is a liqueur, it's 20% alcohol. It is fairly sweet, but it's an amazing flavor. A lot of people don't really want to try it, but when I tell them it's our number one seller, they kind of have to try it, and then they buy it. I had a lady from Idaho that used to buy almost a case of this like every month, and she would give it out like to friends and family because people loved it so much. But take that one off the list for a second. So my top sellers, like during the summertime, especially this year, because now we have berry and huckleberry. We can't keep huckleberry on the shelf. We just can't. It just gone. Like as fast as my family can make it, it's gone. I think we have a list. I think we have 12 pre-orders right now, waiting for us to bottle it and then have them come in and get it. We stopped doing online sales because shipping just got too expensive. So now you have to come to us to get the bottle. But yeah, like we had about 12 pre-orders just for huckleberry, just people love it. My favorite is going to be the berry vodka. I think the next video I do is going to have, I'm going to go from like my green fashion to probably like a berry mojito. That's one of my favorite drinks, period. So that's going to be really cool. So stay tuned for that one next video. But let's see. For spring and summer, huckleberry for sure. For fall and winter, believe it or not, like our cinnamon vodka is always doing really, really well. A lot of people come in like, oh, I don't want cinnamon vodka because of a very big name brand that starts with F. They always compare it to that. I'm like, that's not what we do here. It's a real cinnamon stick, a little bit of sugar in there, but it's not a syrup. It's totally different. Give it a chance. And to tell you the truth, that's what I was actually going to drink tonight. Because I have a customer that comes in fairly often. He wants the cinnamon vodka pretty much chilled on ice, kind of like a martini. He puts it in wants me to put it in one of my shakers, shake it until my hands almost like freeze to the tin, and then pour it into a whiskey glass and with a big ice cube. And believe it or not, that's amazing because I don't know what it is about the coldness of that, like that product. It changes the flavor profile so much. So it's amazing. So I'll say the cinnamon vodka is like a very popular one, but in essence though, like it's wintertime. I gotta say, wintertime, coffee all day. So, if you're if you're local Walla or like visiting Walla, I recommend coming to Cedar Rain Spirits, downtown Walla, and try our White Russian. By far, probably one of the best White Russians you'll ever have. And the reason why is because we use our traditional coffee, and we use our vanilla vodka, and then we do a cream on top. Now, your traditional White Russian will have like ice in it, big ice cube, little ice cube, depending on where you're at. Not here. We don't want to dilute the product. We want it to be like good. So what you'll come to us, we have a martini, and then we put all those products in there, top it off with cream, chocolate shavings, and then send it. And I remember it was a year and a half ago, we had a party of like 45 people come in the door like that. And then I feel like they were everybody wanted to mess with me, and they ordered White Russians, like every single one. I remember I'm just pouring White Russians for like an hour and a half. I think we did like 86. We did a lot. I can't remember how many because it wasn't just them. We had a full bar plus that party. We had a party upstairs. It was a lot. But White Russians were definitely the number one seller that day. And you as a customer coming through or just a guest just come in and say hi, I definitely recommend that White Russian. It's very, very good. People come in just for that drink every time. And Cedar Rain's always incorporating new cocktails into our menu. Sometimes we get slow at night. It happens. Me and the staff and the team will actually like start playing around with different cocktails, different flavors, different this, different that, just to kind of play around and see what we like, what we don't like. And it's kind of the beauty of doing what we do. It's just amazing. It's very much a family-owned business where it's a very much a team effort to make all of this work. So, no, it's awesome. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what we got for chat here. All right, that's a good question. What do I like most about owning a distillery and a restaurant? I think the family portion of it, military, construction, are a little different. Where for us, it is a very long day as a restaurant, and really don't really get a day off. But when we're closed, I bring my family here, bring my kids. They actually can accompany me through things. When I'm having meetings, sometimes I'll have to take my daughter with me to meetings. And it's a big part of it is just making new friends, and that's part of Cedar Rain's big thing. Is that for me, I'm more of a shy guy. Put me in the corner and I'll be okay. But in this industry, it's more about networking and learning how to be social and interacting with people. And I love it. I love that part of it. The challenge of being able to interact with somebody that maybe you would never meet before. And since starting the company, my family and I, we have met so many different people in this industry, in this community, from Walla to Tri-Cities, and the experience has been amazing. We love it, and I gotta say, like I can't think of a better industry to be a part of when you get to meet new customers, but then you get to meet all the owners that are trying to operate a business in downtown Walla or outside of downtown Walla. And I think as a distillery, I think we deliver to about probably 75% of all the bars and restaurants here in Walla. In Tri-Cities, we're trying to grow in Tri-Cities. So if you're from Tri-Cities, make sure to ask your bartender for Cedar Rain. All right, help us out. But anyways, I think if I really had to be honest, I think the thing I love the most about owning a distillery and restaurant is how much you can do with that company, from a catering side to a private event to operating with nonprofits, doing late night events and stuff like that. There's so much that can be done that it's just really, really cool. And in the end, my family and I have grown a lot from doing this kind of stuff, and going forward, want to really try to be more, social. So doing these kind of things are really, really important to us, and getting the word out there that we exist, because in this day and age, it seems like it's really hard to push out enough marketing, enough content to really show that, hey, we are here. We're here to stay, and it's important. So. But yeah, so I think I've covered pretty much a lot of stuff I want to talk about and answer some of the questions. Again, just want to really do another hit towards that Cedar Rain's family-owned business in Walla, and we opened in 2019, and in almost 5 years, we have grown into a tasty room bar and restaurant and catering company, and that has a distribution company. We don't have one, but we've hooked up with the one. And now we're doing these live videos and starting a channel, and I'm doing daily reels and short videos on Facebook, Instagram. So follow us on those. But please, hit the subscribe button, share, like, comment any questions, and I'll do my best to keep up with those questions. But my goal is to try to do multiple of these every week. So If you're local to Walla, swing by and see us. Starting September, we open Wednesday through Sunday, and yeah, we'd love to just chat and just have a good conversation. So thank you for everybody who came through tonight and show some support towards our company and towards and just listening. So all right, guys, y'all have a good night, and we'll talk soon.